Hello, welcome back, all of my goons, geekers, and tweakers. My name is John, for the sake of the channel, and welcome back to Solace. Today, we're going to be talking around the subject of asking for help. Yeah, this is a pretty bad one. This one's going to be pretty bad. Let me speak up. We have been, I'm skipping so many things. First off, I hope you've been well. I hope you've learned something new every day that you've lived thus far. I hope you have finally had your favorite food, drank something good, quality. That's all I ask for. Now, when it comes to asking for help, and this generation that I am in specifically, my generation, your Gen Z, I feel like millennials go through this too, and it's more than likely going to be the case for Generation Alpha, even though they're just fucked. I'm not gonna lie, but that's his own thing. What would be the word I would use to describe it? Okay, never mind, I got it. We avoid asking for help either because we don't want to feel like a burden or because we feel as though we have to do it ourselves. Neither of those things are true. You're not a burden for asking for help, and in this life, it would be pretty fucking hard for you to do everything you need to on your own. Now, this is coming from someone who prefers to do everything on his own. So I will say, I get it. Like 9 times out of 10, you've probably even gotten brought to a point where you don't like relying on people for the simple fact that when you do, the results or the amount of time it takes is not up to par with what you want. And to that degree, 100% I understand. I've gone through some things that have really grinded my gears, right? But that is not a reason for you to avoid help at all costs. Of course, 9 times out of 10, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. Because I kind of stand on the principle of if you can do it the best, then you kind of don't need outside help. But when you need it, and you know you need it, but you avoid going out of your way to go get it just because of the lack of trust you have in systems outside of yourself, you're digging yourself in a hole that over time takes away any opportunity you could have through external means. And you do not realize how much knowing people matters, especially when trying to grow. And then when we have the other side, where we're talking more about the burdensome aspect, this comes from the lack of confidence one can have in oneself, and that can lead them to believing that they aren't worthy of something like help, or that they should just do it themselves because other people are able to do so. Please stop comparing yourself to other people. You're not other people, you are you. You are your own individual being, and everybody is their own individual being. There are going to be some things that other people would ask for help for that you don't need help for, and vice versa. But it's when we start getting in our heads, convincing ourselves that asking for help is a detriment to the people around us, you're losing faith in humanity. And I have my moments too, okay? Because the world can be pretty dark, but the way you're going about it, when you need help and you constantly deny yourself access to help, no one is going to help you, and you're going to be drowning in that pit of quicksand on your own, wondering why no one's there to help you. And then also pleading and just losing yourself in the idea that throughout your life no one was there, it's because you pushed them away. You've got to stop doing that. You got to stop, because at that point it is no one's fault but your own, unfortunately. And whether it be through conscious or subconscious action, we have to start to realize that you have to actively want it. You have to be willing to put aside whatever form of ego or pride or shame or guilt there is and advocate for yourself. Let the people around you know that you need help. Because if you do, you do. Everybody needs a fucking doctor every now and then. You can't do everything for yourself. But I understand it's hard. There's difficulty in doing something like that because you're opening up yourself to being vulnerable to other people. That's another problem that comes with it. The aspect that tells you, oh, for me to need to do this, I would need to rely on someone outside of myself. I would have to trust that they could do this for me. Trust issues are just another aspect of the devil, I will say. I have some of those as well, and it's because of that I will say you need to understand who you do not trust. If it is a stranger and it is based off of the belief that you have had wrong and bad encounters with strangers before, your mind is already primed to have little to no trust for them. So even in the event that they could help you, you're not going to accept the help just based off of pattern recognition. This, survivally speaking, is that the word I would use? Based in survival, this wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. It would be good that you have the system in place that would allow you to avoid repeating mistakes. However, there are going to be times in life where you need access to other people, whether you know them or not. And this is where discretion and discernment comes into play, because you have to understand whether or not this person is actually not only someone to allow into your space, but someone who is useful to your cause at that point in time. You still must understand that it can be something good. Because if you live within a fear or I would just use fear for this. If you would prefer to only live in a fear-based mindset when it comes to help from other people, you're not going to be able to grow past the aspects of yourself. You're able to change yourself, because help goes as far as even having guidance. And if we don't trust anyone else's opinion, then what the fuck is guidance, you know? So I would just say, have more, and I know this can be a pretty big ask, but have a little bit more faith in your fellow human, okay? Because while we're all on this rock, this beautiful rock together, we are all growing, and at different rates and at different paces, and we're all at different places in our lives, but we're all growing and learning still. So if you have some type of skill that you're much more made for compared to your neighbor, do that thing yourself, for sure. But if your neighbor is a little bit more talented at doing said thing, or has put in the work themselves and is willing to offer you the help to do what you need to do, then allow that to happen for yourself. You do not need to play life on fucking veteran difficulty, okay? Thank you for listening to what I've had to say. I love you guys. If you haven't heard that yet, share the video with anyone you may feel needs to hear it. And take care. I'm going to be much more consistent. I mean, I've been consistent, but a little bit more consistent.